Hey y'all, Shane Kerwin from Personal Survival Solutions here with the next video in the basic rifle marksmanship series, utilizing Unit Solutions Unit 4. So we've done the prone position, which is the most solid, stable, and durable position that we can get into. We're going to move to the next one in the list that would be the next most solid, stable, and durable position, and that would be the seated position. Now there's a variety of ways that we can do the seated position. I'll demonstrate two of the ways, and then the third way is my preferred method. Because as we're doing this, the one thing that we want to sacrifice the least is mobility. Because again, to quote Pat McNamara, you know, mobility equals survivability. So it's important for me to get into these positions quickly, get the shots off that I need, and then be able to get up out of them and move again quickly. So when I go to get into any of these seated positions, and I would do this when I have distance. So I pick the position that I want to be in depending on the distance that I have, because the farther the distance equates to more time for me to get into a more solid, stable, and durable position. So when I go to get into this position, what I do is I take my right foot, orient the muzzle down towards where the threat is, or the perceived threat. I cross my feet, bring the gun back into a position of strength with my support hand. As I bend my knees, I'm going to catch myself as I drop into this position. Okay, and then I get myself set up for whichever kneeling position I'm going to get into. In this particular instance, a more traditional NRA style kneeling position would be Indian style with the legs crossed. And I know that this is outside of some people's wheelhouse because of flexibility and mobility issues. And it also restricts our mobility to get out of the position, but it is a very solid, stable, and durable position. I would tighten that sling and utilize it. When I go to get in, I would take my elbows on the inside of my knees and corkscrew the gun into the pocket of my shoulder, and then squeeze in with my thighs to provide that solid, stable, and durable position. Now, like I said, I'm not really a fan of this one, especially because I got such long legs. Okay, the next one would be is I can move these out and have my feet crossed. Again, tightening that sling as I get into position, corkscrewing it in, getting my elbows on the inside, okay, and then finding my sights in a nice, solid, stable, and durable position. As you notice, as I change into these different seated positions, my support hand comes back on the frame, or excuse me, the forearm of the gun, okay, flatten it out to provide an actual platform to hold the gun in place. Pulling back with my three amigos, and pretty darn solid, okay? The seated position that I like the most is I keep my feet apart. I keep my feet apart because that allows me the ability to get back to my feet, and I'll cover that in the later part of the video. Okay, when we're shooting groups for marksmanship, okay, I want to practice that natural point of aim like we talked about in the first video of this series. So again, I'm going to tighten my sling up as tight as I can get it. I'm going to corkscrew in, and I'm going to bring my elbows on the inside of my knees, getting muscular tension for my legs, pulling inward, and I'm going to check that natural point of aim. So I'm going to close my eyes, take a couple deep breaths, relax. If I have to move, I'm worried about left and right, I want to move my hips and my whole body, either left or right, depending which way I need to move, and then repeat the process again. Okay. Once I get my natural point of aim set, the fundamentals of marksmanship that we discussed in previous videos are going to be the same thing here. Okay, so I'm just going to shoot a 5-round group in the Fieldcraft target in the heart. So I'm going to get set. I'm going to check my natural point of aim. Safety off. Roll my finger to the lower part of the trigger. A natural respiratory pause, and roll my finger straight to the rear. Okay, reset. Okay, find my front sight, natural respiratory pause, slack out, verify front sight, press straight to the rear. Okay, natural respiratory, or excuse me, slack out of the trigger, natural respiratory pause, okay, verify front sight, and straight to the rear with the trigger. Okay, reset, slack out, find my front sight, natural respiratory pause, and straight to the rear. And the last one, reset, take the slack out of the trigger, confirm the front sight, natural respiratory pause, and straight to the rear. Okay, reset, safety back on. Okay, when I go to get out of this position, I'm gonna release tension on my sling. I'm gonna bring the gun back in under my arm for a position of strength, okay? My support hand is gonna come to here, okay? And I'm gonna dig in with my right foot. Since I'm right-handed, I'm gonna bring my left foot back so my knee is on the ground. I can keep this oriented towards the threat. Okay, I can engage here if I need to, but in this instance, I'm gonna stand up. So I'm gonna bring my support hand under, place it on my knee, because especially if I have flexibility, mobility issues, or if I'm wearing kit, I can help myself up. And now I'm back in a good fighting mobile stance, and I can assess my situation, scan for other threats, etc., etc. So, not too bad a group down there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, remember, we haven't done an actual zero on this. So I'm looking for combat marksmanship, so I'm happy with that. Okay. So that's going to conclude the seated position for basic rifle marksmanship. Hey, we're going to get into the different kneeling positions in the next video. So until then, always vigilant, always prepared, and we'll see you on the range.